viewers, welcome to my channel Try It Yourself. And today's project, Samsung washer. It doesn't take the water, so it's when you turn it off the cycle it spins for a little bit, and then after a while you start hearing this beep and you see this flashing message, NF, no fill. So it's stopped because it doesn't take the water. So the first thing I gotta do, test inlet valves, water valves. I gotta move it out so I can get it to the back. Obviously the first thing to do is unplug it from the wall. Next step, we're gonna close the valves. To take the cover off, remove this two screws on the back, Phillips screwdriver. To remove it, you slide it out, lift it up, and here we have our valves. This is the hot water valve, and this is cold water valve. And as you can see, three different electric motors over here that obviously work for a few different options. So the easiest test is actually, before take the hoses apart and stuff, is obviously electrical. So for that, if you have a tester like this set up on the ohms of resistance over here, on the green ones, and we're gonna be testing, as you can see the arrow, that's a good continuity. So we're gonna test one at a time over here. Nothing. It's totally dead. Okay. Now I'm gonna test one of the cold ones. See, that's the good valve. That's a good valve, see? It has a continuity. So at least this part of the valve, see, it's a triple valve. You cannot just replace one of them. Let's check on this one. This one is good as well. See the arrow? This one is fine. And the last one, also fine. So what? We have an electrical failure of the hot water valve. Let's double check it. It's totally dead. That's the problem. Hot water valve is done. So I'm gonna have to order this hot water valve. So here's the valve that I got from Amazon. I'm gonna leave all of this part numbers and description and links to the valve in the description for this video, for the cold and for the hot. For the hot, like in my case, I'm replacing the hot one, and I'm gonna leave the price, the link to the cold one as well. So without the sale, even, because if you can find a sale, it's gonna be, you can save a few bucks, but without the sale right now you can buy both of those valves for like $29 or something like that. So anyway, it's actually arrived in 2 days from Amazon. So now's the time to test to see continuity. As you can see, that's my hot one. And if you can remember, when you test, switch to the continuity over here. Pay attention to this arrows over here, and so that's the new switch. 1, 2. Let me move the wire. See the arrow what it's doing? And that's the original. Nothing is happening at all. So, by the way, in my case, as a plan B, you have to do like emergency washing or something. Like if you have something like this. See, my case, the hot water valve doesn't work, but the cold one is fine. I mean, we checked all of them and they're fine. So like my machine, for example, has an option cold. So if you use this option, you're actually good to go. And those current detergents should be actually fine, you know, for like emergency washing and everything like this. Because in my case, you know, you have hot, cold, warm. All these three upper ones require to use the hot water in the system, and that's why valve doesn't work. Obviously, you're gonna have that NF message, and it's not gonna go through. But if you know, just washing with the cold, you actually should be okay. I mean, you will be okay. So anyway, so now just a simple thing to replace. Obviously, I'm not gonna be messing with that. We'll be disconnecting this hose. You're most likely gonna have a little water in here, so come up with, you know, something. Not too much, just a little bit. Next step, we're gonna take this two screws that holding the valve in place. You still have a little water in here, so now just simply disconnect the hose from the, again, double check it. It looks a little bit different, so it's not exactly the same thing. It has like a plastic spacer over here. I don't know how much difference that is making, but that's so that's the new one. And here's something to check. Let's say in my case, electrical part would be okay. My next step would be to check this screen over here. See how this one is plugged a little bit? I have a softener in my house, but it's still packed a little bit over here. So that's the new one. You can see how pretty much clear stainless steel screens over here on the new one, and this one has all this little bit particles of the rust. So let's say you double check the electrical part over here. You check those pins and you have continuity. So next step would be checking the mechanical part, like to see if it plugged over here and stuff like that. So that would be my step, but again, in my case, not necessary. So we're just gonna replace this slide in just like that. Well, before I put the clamp, I want to make sure that it's not twisted, so line up, and then, like in my case, I have to slide the hose a little bit, and then I replace in this clamp, release just like that. And now we're just gonna, so now that you It's really easy from inside over here to see. It's nothing really fancy. You just stick it in a hole, line up 2 holes with this threaded brackets, and that's it. And that's everything that you have to do. So you just slide it from over here. Obviously we're gonna secure it first, but I mean, it doesn't, you can plug it in at some point. So hold it in place. This is Phillips screwdriver, by the way. But and that's it, and that's how you replace it. So at this point we're gonna reattach the hose. You have a rubber grommet in there, so you don't have to go crazy tight. Just make sure it's somewhat tight. That rubber grommet in here gonna do the job. At this point you actually can double check that everything is working fine. Make sure nothing's dripping over here. Open the valve. We're gonna go on a quick wash so it's fast, and let's switch to the hot and cold. Close the door. Machine going through the checking the door lock thingy, blah blah blah. And now we should start getting water. There you go. And the first water, you could actually you're probably not going to be able to see it, but when you're using the hot and cold water, before the machine start taking the cold water, it's actually taking the hot water first. And you actually can see how the first one jumps, so no dripping, everything's working, hot water's taken, we're good to go. Now I have just to put the cover back on, close it. So to put cover back on, you just slide it like so. Push it, and run 2 screws in the back here. That's it. So that's how you fix NF error code on your Samsung washing machine, just by replacing one of the valves. In my case it was a hot water valve. It could be cold. So parts that I was using in this project is listed in the description. If this video was helpful for you, give me a like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you and good luck.